All right, it's time to talk about teamwork. A few years ago, some colleagues and I did a thing where we ran a program through the Job Bank job advertisement site, and we found the word that occurred in most of the job advertisements most of the time, and that word was teamwork. Teamwork is the number one skill, not just soft skill. Teamwork is the number one skill that employers in our region seek. Okay? It's the process of working collaboratively within a group of people in order to achieve a goal. Teamwork is often a crucial part of a business, as it is often necessary for colleagues to work well together, trying their best in any circumstance. Teamwork means that people will try to cooperate using their individual skills and providing constructive feedback despite any personal conflict between individuals. Okay? So what makes a good team? The ideas of respect, cooperation, communication, thoughtfulness, dependability, goal setting, responsibility, and enthusiasm. Now, some of these are pretty obvious. Respect, cooperation, and communication are things that I think that everybody knows make a good team. One of the ideas I like to talk about is thoughtfulness. Perhaps you are working with a colleague who doesn't like to take out the trash. If you offer to take out the trash when you are working together, that colleague will notice that. They'll appreciate it, and they'll realize that you're a thoughtful person. And they will want to be thoughtful back to you and to your other coworkers as well, setting an example, right? Dependability, you want to be able to be depended upon or relied upon to fulfill your role in the team, right? Goal setting is another big one. Okay, you can be on any team, but if you don't have an established goal, okay, then you're not going to be able to achieve that goal. Okay, and it could be as simple as, creating more sales. It could be as simple as keeping the t-shirt rack more organized, right? But you want to establish those goals and discuss them with your team, and how you, on your team, the role that you play can help to achieve that. Okay, the last one I want to talk about is enthusiasm. That doesn't mean coming in, bouncing off the walls and smiling ear to ear. It just means coming in and not saying, oh, I don't like this place and I don't want to be working here right now. Right? That's all it takes. It's very, very easy. Okay, a really, really easy example, or basic, simple, clear example of good teamwork is what we see in sports. Okay, not every person on the team plays the same role, but every role is important to winning the game. If we look at the photo next to us, okay, we have the back catcher. If everybody on the team was a back catcher, it would probably not be a very effective baseball team. However, if you did not have a back catcher, okay, it probably would not be a very effective team either, right? So that's a very important role that this person plays in order for the team to be successful. And just because this person plays this role doesn't mean every person should play this role. That's the idea of a team. Another example that is meaningful to me is if we think about a rock and roll band, okay? If every person in the band was a drummer, it would probably not be a very good sounding band, right? But if you don't have a drummer at all, it's probably also not going to be a good sounding band either. Or people will have to make up the role that the drummer plays on other instruments in order to fulfill that position. Okay? The idea of a collective goal is something that if you're on a team, that's something that you work towards as a team. So your collective goal on a sports team is to win as many games as you can. Your collective goal in a band is to play good music, right? Your collective goal in a workplace scenario is likely to make more money. Okay, that's why we come to work, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that. However, one of the things that you also want to do in a workplace and in every situation where you're coming up with a collective goal is you will want to come up with smaller sub goals, right? So if you're working in a retail scenario, like I mentioned before, maybe you want to keep the t-shirt racks more tidy. Maybe you want to make sure that the changing rooms are, more monitored. Maybe you want to make sure that people are spending less time in line trying to pay for the things that they're trying to buy. Okay? This brings me to the idea of it takes a village. So the idea of it takes a village to raise a child means that there's a family role to be played in raising a child, but there are also many, many community roles. So some of the roles that are required to accomplish the collective goal of raising a child, if you're a part of a village, would be communities, right? You have neighbors, you have extended family, you have schools, you have community centers, you have places of worship or other places like that. Okay. You also have safety elements. You have doctors. You have firefighters. You have things like this. You also have, places that you can go and buy food or buy clothing or buy whatever else you need, right? Those are some of the roles that you play in a village. And one of the things that people often don't think about is the garbage collector, right? The garbage collector is the person that makes sure that everything that you are trying to get rid of, right? All of the waste that is produced in your life, and there's a lot of waste. Like every time you buy something, it comes in plastic packaging, you have to throw that out. It has to go somewhere, right? Garbage collector makes sure that that goes to the place it needs to go, and it keeps the community safe, it keeps your household safe, and it keeps everything collected together, okay? So why is everybody's contribution to the goal just as important as someone else's in the village? Well, because sometimes we may think that the doctor is a very important role, or the lawyer, or the firefighter, and they are very important roles, right? But if we don't have a garbage collector, right, then the doctor's role is going to be a lot more busy, right? And then that's going to reflect on somebody else's role and somebody else's role. So having everybody working together effectively, right, makes it so that everybody doesn't have to work extra hard and do other people's parts, okay? So what would you do to make sure everyone had an equal opportunity to contribute? This is a question I'm going to leave for you to think about. Okay, take a second to think about that. Fill out the teamwork self-reflection piece, and then we will move on to the next part, talking about the different roles that we can play in groups.